Hello everyone, we're back. Today is Wednesday and we're here for another episode of Clean Eating 101. And today our topic is following the 10 Commandments for Clean Eating, which you can find on IamACleanEater.com. That's the website. And Sharissa's with me here and she's going to turn around and we are doing commandment number 5, which is shop local and shop farmers markets. So if you are catching up on this series that we've been doing, we strongly recommend that you go to IamACleanEater.com and like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, because all the videos that we've been doing have been uploaded or are being uploaded on that site, right?
Yes.
Okay.
-6, but we're good. We're
Right.
almost there.
We're almost there. So every month we are doing the next, basically in the series for the 10 Commandments of Clean Eating. So every month our topic changes and we give you good information. All the blogs are on the IamACleanEater.com as well. So we're in the store today. The store is Artisan's Palette and we're on Yanez. We are local here in Temecula, California. If you haven't liked our Facebook page, please do that, along with the IamACleanEater.com. I'm going to pass it over to Sharissa because the store is open and we're working here, and she's going to guide you through what shop local and farmers markets means under I Am a Clean Eater. Thank you. We'll see you next time.
Hello and welcome to the class. So this is our 5th class, like Pia said. Because you're all new faces to me here, and I don't know who's watching at home, but make sure you comment, say, hey, I'm wearing my glasses today, so I'll actually be able to see your comments. So we're going to go just a little tiny bit into detail about what the first 4 commandments are. That's kind of how I always do my class, is I go back through just a little bit of where we were coming from. We'll talk about today's class and what the topic is for today, and then I'll tell you what to look for next month's class. So like Pia said, this is an ongoing class. It's Clean Eating 101. Every month it has a new topic and it builds on the previous topics from the month before. So what we've talked about, and I'll show you the back of the shirt because it's so handy that all of our 10 commandments are here for us. So commandment number 1 was let the ingredient list guide you. And like Pia said, all of these commandments I've done a blog post for, as well as a 1-hour-long video presentation on each one. So if you have any questions, like what did I say about commandment number 1, you can go back and watch the whole presentation. That's on the Facebook page as well as the YouTube page. So that way you can get a little bit more information about that. And then of course come every month, so it'll keep building on it. And then every year we'll repeat the topics with new information. So let the ingredient list guide you is the number 1 commandment for a reason. When we're looking for any type of product, any food, anything really that you put in or on your body, the most important thing about that product is the ingredient list. So we want to make sure that the ingredients are high quality, clean meaning there's no fillers, there's no artificial sugars, there's no dyes or colors, anything that's going to negatively affect your body. We want to make sure that those things aren't in it. So things like sucralose and aspartame and red dye number 40, like all of those things you'll see in your list and think like, that's out. Can't buy that food. Anything that isn't something that you would want to put in your body. So let the ingredient list guide you. In that class, we really talked about how the nutrition labels, that facts labels that everybody typically goes to, and we look and see like, oh, it has 20 grams of carbs and 15 grams of sugar. That really doesn't tell you anything. What tells you, get the most information is where that sugar is coming from, where those carbs are coming from. If that sugar is coming from an organic coconut palm sugar, that's a heck of a lot better product than the sugar coming from something like Splenda or I said aspartame. There's a lot of other artificial sweeteners. So what's that? And agave, absolutely. Agave is one of those that people think like, oh, it's a clean source, it's coming from a plant, so it must be really good. It really isn't, and it really does spike your insulin levels, your blood sugar levels go up really high, and it's not much better for you than just plain old white sugar. So let the ingredient list guide you is all about understanding what those ingredients mean. So when you see something like monosodium glutamate, knowing that that actually means MSG and that most people respond very negatively to MSG, so don't buy those products. Or maltodextrin, which is corn. And if you're avoiding corn or you don't eat corn, then you're not going to want to buy a product that has corn in it in a sneaky way. Okay? So let the ingredient list guide you as commandment number 1. I know that this is backwards on here, I apologize. Commandment number 2 was go organic or non-GMO. And in that class, we talked about the difference between conventionally grown produce versus organically grown produce, and the difference in the amount of nutrients in those products, as well as the amount of chemicals in the products that are sprayed with things like Roundup. So conventionally grown versus the non-conventionally grown or organically grown, where you're getting a lot more minerals and nutrients in the food that you're buying. So maybe it's $1 more, $2 more, but if you're buying an apple that doesn't have anything in it nutritionally, and it also has pesticides, Roundup, all of these bad things in it, you've just paid to make yourself sicker. So you're buying into an industry that's not supporting your health in any way, and it's not going to make you feel any better. So you might as well not buy it at all. I'd rather you not eat the apple than for you to buy an organic apple, if that makes sense. So that's what that class was all about. For number 3, it was watch out for deceptive marketing, and remember that most important part of that is that people who are making these pretty packages are not for your benefit, it's for their benefit. They only want to sell you the product, and they'll do whatever it takes to do that. There are some words and phrases that you're not allowed to use unless they're certified. So for instance, that paleo stamp, it's a circle and it has a P in it and it says paleo approved. That is an actual certification that those companies have to go through, and they have to be approved to get that stamp. Paleo friendly, however, is a term that people can use on any product that they want, because it's not something that they have to earn. They can just write it on there as marketing. But paleo friendly can still mean that it has corn and sugar and horrible things in it. We had a customer come into the store, a good friend come in a couple of days ago, and he said, I got a new cookbook and it was paleo, and they said you could have Diet Coke and you could have artificial sweeteners and you could have corn. And he was asking me, he said, is corn paleo? Is this paleo? And I said, absolutely not. And he said, well, I got this paleo cookbook that said that you could have all of these things. So again, unless it's paleo certified, that's still part of deceptive marketing. So we need to be really careful, and again, looking at the ingredients, because just because something has a label on the front of it saying gluten-free or sugar-free or low fat or no fat, we need to find out what it is that they took out of the product and put into it to make it taste like that thing that you want to eat that's now free from all of these other additives. Okay, so let the ingredient list guide you kind of plays into that deceptive marketing. You really need to look still for the ingredients no matter what the packaging says. And that's deceptive marketing. And then lastly, last month we talked about grow your own, which is commandment number 4. And that was a really good segue for us because it was deceptive marketing, ingredient lists, non-GMO, and then, well, how am I supposed to eat if I can't eat the food that's in the grocery store and everybody's trying to lie to me so that I can get my own produce, and so I, don't buy these things that I can't buy because they're full of chemicals. What am I supposed to do? Well, one really good choice to make is to grow your own produce. And so that whole class was on tips and tricks to how to start growing your own organic garden at home. That video is also posted on YouTube and on our social media pages. Today, we're going to talk about shopping local and shopping at the farmers markets. So this is how we support our local community, how we create real change, and of course, how do we get that high quality produce into our bodies at a lesser expensive price and keep it so that we can afford it within our budget, right? Okay, so shop local and shop the farmers markets. Any questions up until this point? I know I tend to kind of like go quickly, but now that we're all caught up, I'll slow down a bit. Sounds good? Okay, so in Temecula and Murrieta, we have very close to us at the minimum 4 farmers markets every week. So there's a Tuesday one in South Temecula in the Kohl's Shopping Center. There's a Wednesday one just across the street from us here at the mall. There's a Saturday one at the in Old Town, sorry, behind us, in Old Town. And then there's a Sunday one in Murrieta off of Calmia. So we have 4 farmers markets every single week. So if you can't make it to one, there's bound to be another one that you can get yourself to. And this is very, very important that we start looking at farmers markets and shopping local and supporting our local community. When we understand the thoughts behind these big conventional farms. So what they did was, like, and I talked about this in our last class, but just to reiterate a little bit, the farmers tried to play God in essence. They were seeing that the food was starting to have problems, right? There's shortages of foods, there's droughts, there's problems with growing, there's a bacteria that'll come in and wipe out a whole crop. But at the same time, our population of people is growing exponentially. So what are we gonna do if the food is getting less and the people are getting more? They tried to figure out a way to make it so that they could continue to grow more food for the growing population, and they started genetically modifying the foods. So now we can grow corn with very little water. Now we can grow wheat in all year round, right? And it changed, the seasons changed and things changed. Instead of being able to only grow a certain crop every season and then we had to switch it out, the crops used to grow wheat and then soybeans, right? They would switch off corn, soybeans in order to mineralize the soil, put nitrogen back into the soil. They don't need to do that anymore because now we've manufactured the nitrogen, we've manufactured the soil minerals, and we've put it in ourselves. So now we don't have to switch the crops anymore. So now we're getting less and less and less and less. So they had a good theory behind the idea of growing these massive conventional farms. The problem was they never really understood the effect of all those chemicals on our bodies and what it would do to our body. So now all of a sudden, we've got tons of food, tons of grain, tons of corn, tons of people, but now all of that rate of disease has gone up. Now we have babies being born with cancer. We have people in there, I remember when I was growing up, that cancer used to be something that your grandparents got because they smoked for 40 years. Now it's something that your neighbor's kid has at 14 because they played soccer on AstroTurf. Now it's something that my best friend, her son was born with a softball-sized liver cancer. Born with it. So where are these coming from? If we don't understand that there's chemicals and things that we're putting into our body, that we're breathing, that we're putting on our skin, they didn't realize the repercussions. So now finally we're getting smart, we're waking up. We're saying, wait a minute, if I don't eat these crappy things, if I don't go through the drive-thru for a week and I eat the good salads and I ate organic, or I stayed at my friend's house and they only eat like this, and I felt really good, and I went back to doing this and I felt really bad, then there must be some correlation to what I'm putting in as to what I'm getting out of it, right? But in order to make those farmers change, in order for them to go back to what was meant to be, to do these smaller farms where people supported each other in the community, and we had these locally grown organic vegetables that were picked and then the next day brought to a market and sold and eaten the next day, not these 3 months on the shelf. If we can go back to that, maybe we can reverse some of this damage. But it seems overwhelming. How do we get back there? How do we go back to people doing these small farms? We've gotten used to in the industrialized community and living in these, concrete jungles. How do we go back to that? The best way that we can do it, the best thing that you can do to start that widespread change is to support your local community and to support the farmers that are doing it the right way. And the best way we can do that is through farmers markets. You cut out the middleman, no more grocery store, you go straight to the source and you get to know your farmers. I had the most amazing experience this week on Tuesday. I just happened to not have anything on my calendar, which never happens, ever. And I decided to go and get a fancy cup of coffee and walk through the farmers market in the Vail Ranch Shopping Center. And I got to meet 5 new farmers that I had never met before. They were growing all organic grapefruits and Valencia oranges and passion fruit, and just the most beautiful fruits and vegetables out on these tables. And they're cheap, 50 cents, $1, $2 a pound, something like that. But I not only did I just like pick up a piece of food, we're so methodical about the things that we get. We make our grocery list, we go to the store, we pick it up, we forget that someone actually grew this, someone picked it, someone brought it to you. When you get the opportunity to say, hi, I'm Sharissa, who are you? And meet the person who's growing your food and picking your food and selling your food, that's a whole new realm of experience. It opens your mind up to what it is that you could possibly have in life and how healthy you could be. And ask them about it. They'll tell you, try my oranges. You'll never taste anything like this in the store. There's nothing like this because conventionally grown foods are so devoid of any of the minerals that they don't have any flavor, right? You taste one of these guys' oranges. It was dripping down my arm, like this little, cube. Taking a bite, it's all the way down my arm. It's the sweetest thing I've ever had. It's sweeter than candy. I could never eat a whole orange like that. It was just way too sweet. But I thought instantly, like, oh, this would be so great for my daughter's orange juice in the morning. I'd have to water it a little, it's a little sweet. But the experience was that I got to know someone, shake the hand of the person who was growing my food, and thank them, and give them the opportunity and pay them back so that they can keep doing it. The more we support the farmers, the more we support the local farmers markets, the more those people are going to be able to grow themselves. They buy the next big piece of land, they hire some more people to help them. And now they've kept that organic practice, they've kept that same good health mentality, and they're sharing it with you, and they have the ability to continue to grow more. So this is how we create widespread change. It's not go home, get overwhelmed, don't ever eat anything, starve to death because the videos are telling you, the documentaries are saying, nothing is good, stop eating all of these things because it's all conventional. Well, that's just not true. There are some really, really awesome farms out there doing it the right way. You don't have to starve yourself. You don't have to stop eating the good, healthy foods. You just have to find the right people and support the right people. And then the myth or the mystery behind the expense of it, of I can't eat organic because it's too expensive. When you go to the farmer's market, you realize it's actually not that expensive. It's actually very reasonably priced if you cut out the middleman. Now there's nobody else making a profit except that one person who's growing for you. So it's a lot less expensive if you can do it that way. The next best way to do it, if you can't get yourself to a farmer's market, is to sign up for a CSA, which is the farm sharing. So they'll send you your produce. The one that we use here in the store, the one that I use at home, is Harvest to You. And they deliver fresh produce to my door once a week. And it's all organic, it's all good. I know who's growing it. I know the owners of the company very well. And I know that I'm getting good stuff, and I'm supporting a local community. And now they can grow, and they can do more for us. By making that one little change, by eating those foods, we can start that domino effect. Go ahead.
Yeah, at the farmers markets, there's a lot of tables that are out there, but they don't say certified organic.
Yeah.
And when you talk to the sellers, they say, well, we don't use pesticides, but
Right.
we're not certified organic. How much do you trust those farmers, or do you always go with the certified?
I don't always go with certified. I don't necessarily care if they're certified. I want to know from the farmers who, so to repeat the question, if the sign isn't on the storefront, or if the sign isn't on their little table that it's certified organic, what do? So talk to them, ask them. They're very honest about their practices. Those farmers want to make sure that you're buying from them. They're not going to try to lie to you about it. You can also tell really easily if something is organic or conventionally grown. Organic food isn't perfect. It isn't like this perfect carrot. It's maybe got like another carrot growing off to the side, you know? The oranges had like some little dark spots where the sugar has started to come out of the orange. But no, ask them. So the certification process is very expensive. And a lot of small farmers can't afford to go through the process. And it takes 5 years, and I think, do you know what it's called? It's over $1 million. No, the certification. it's pretty high, and it's 5 years of practicing in that way in order to get the stamp. So they have to be doing it the right way and pay the money. So a lot of them, if they're just starting out, they can't have it anyways because they're not old enough. Has to be 5 years old. And then in order to get the certification, they have to pay the government for the certification. They have to have them come out, check the practices, and get the stamp. So it's something that's not accessible for all of them. But by going and shopping with them and supporting them, then we're supporting their efforts at getting that approval. And then maybe in 2 years from now, you'll go and they'll have a big old circle that says certified organic, and you'll have given them that ability to do that. So again, helping to spread that widespread change.
Maybe talk a little bit about what this is an opportunity too, with so many visits, right, and they're not organic, that a lot of times they're cleaner than the ones that are certified organic, in the sense that there are up to 200 more pesticides that are allowed under the organic label.
So that's a really good point. So just because they say certified organic doesn't actually mean that it doesn't have any pesticides or herbicides on it. And you can look up what is allowed in an organic farm. So they still have a huge long list of herbicides and pesticides that are allowed on organic plants. So ask the farmers, they'll tell you. Some of them will say, I don't have the organic stamp, but we're beyond organic, that we use soap and water, or we use a little bit of vinegar on our plants, things like that. So ask them, if you get a bug that comes through your crop, what do you do? Because some do still use herbicides and pesticides that are allowed with the certified organic label. So the best way that you're going to find that out is by asking those questions to the person who's selling you the food. I mean, at the grocery store, you're at Albertsons, Ralph's, whatever, I don't even know, Vaughn's, I can't even think of regular grocery store names anymore. If you ask the produce guy, where did these come from? What were they sprayed with? He won't have any idea. Most of them are coming from Argentina, Peru, Spain, New Mexico. They're traveling a very long way. They're not going to taste like anything anyways. And again, that goes back to that, like, I'd rather you not eat the apple than buy the bad apple. And the reason I'm thinking of this is because that farmer that I bought the oranges from and the grapefruits from, he had these apples that were out of this world, Honeycrisp apples, which I only eat Granny Smith apples because I like that bite like Granny Smith has, but the Honeycrisp had the bite, and I bought so many apples, and they were $5 a pound, and I have to have these apples. They're so amazing, better than I've ever had in my life. So, and the nice thing about farmers markets too is they'll let you try their food before you buy it. So hey, I want to try these, melons or peaches. Peach season is my favorite. Any of their fruit, they'll let you try it before you even buy it. One of them, he had these little tiny key limes. And we bought a bunch of them, but he wanted to show us that the key limes that you buy in the store, if you ever buy key limes in the store, they're very dry and you don't get a whole lot out of them. So you get them and you squeeze, and maybe you get like a teaspoon per key lime. This one just the juice kept coming out and out. And it was like this, it was this big. And there's so much juice in that tiny lime. I couldn't even believe it. I almost bought less because of this demonstration, because I was like, whoa, do I need that much lime juice? I don't think I need all of that. But no, you can ask them, you can try their foods, you can get those questions answered. And once you meet the farmers, you can decide, okay, I really like this farm, I really like this farm, and then just buy what they have to offer. A couple of other things that come up to mind for me when you're buying local and you're shopping the farmers markets, if you primarily get your produce from the farmers market, just by nature, you're going to be eating seasonally. You're only going to be getting what's in season, because once the growing season is over, they're not going to have anything to bring to you. So that's what I was asking him about the oranges. So your Valencia oranges, how much longer are we going to get these? And he said 2 weeks, growing season's done. What's left on the trees coming next week and the week after, and then that's it. So that's what you get. You get those oranges until they're done, and then it comes up with the next crop. There was another kind of oranges that'll come next season. So that's the other really nice part of shopping farmers markets and shopping local, is you're going to get local produce. It's going to help with seasonal allergies because you're getting pollinated produce from your area. You're going to be eating in season. You're supporting a local branch that we know is going to help make this domino effect, that we're going to continue to support them and they're going to grow and we're going to be healthier for it. It also puts a lot of pressure on conventional farmers. So there's the biggest farmers now, the ones who are making the most conventionally grown produce, are now breaking their land up in order to have organic sections of land. So now instead of having 500 acres of conventional, now they have 400 acres of conventional and one that they're planning for organic. Remember, it takes 5 years, so it's going to take them time to get there. But just the little bit of pressure by shopping at the farmers markets, shopping local, talking to the local farmers, it puts enough pressure on them that they're already shutting down what they've been doing. Because it's all consumer driven. So if you continue to buy the bad things, they're going to continue to grow it for you. When we put the pressure and start to change over, they're going to have to adapt or they'll die off. Which either one of those is fine with me, right? What other questions do you guys have? Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
Why don't you talk a little bit about the types of questions you ask at the farmer's market?
Sure.
Since, there are times that farmers at the farmer's market aren't necessarily farmers. Okay, where they're coming in from, they're not necessarily
they're helping.
local either, so maybe expanding on
Okay,
that.
so what are questions that you'd want to ask at the farmer's market? So you're at the farmer's market, you're all excited, you brought your bags, you're looking cute, got your hat, I don't know, cup of coffee. I always go to those movies where like the cute couples walking down the farmer's market with their bikes and their basket and they got their little cute coffee and they're like, oh, let's make some ravioli tonight. You know, like, I don't know, I'm so visual, right? That's just where I go. Okay, so you're at the farmer's market. What do you want to know about? There's a lot of things we got to make sure that we're getting the right type of foods, right? So you're going to want to talk to the person, ask them who they are. Are you the farmer? Are you the person growing it? Who are you helping pick it? Are you just someone hired by the company to sell the produce? Most likely, if they're at a farmer's market, it's somebody who's in the community of the farmer. There's not a huge profit margin, so they're not hiring a bunch of people to go and sell them for them. But ask them, are you the person who grows it? And you can tell, you know, the weathered farmer old man who's like so cute and like, these are my oranges that I grew and picked last week. And they're like, I love you, thank you. Anyways, ask them who they are. So where are you in the list of command? What type of produce is it? Is it organic? Is it conventional? Ask them if it doesn't say certified organic, do you grow with organic practices? And what happens when bugs come into your crop? Do you spray with herbicides? Do you use pesticides? What kinds do you use? And some will tell you, we just use soap and water. Soap and water kills aphids. Or we plant marigolds and that detracts from the other plants. Or we have mint growing all over the perimeter and so we don't use anything. Or we use coyote urine like around the property. Ask them because they'll tell you what it is that they're using to deter with. And there's a lot of natural things that they can do, but there's a lot of unnatural things they can do as well. Ask them where they're from. How far are you coming from? Are you coming from LA? Are you coming from San Diego? Or are you some random person driving in from, you know, where are they coming from? And then how long ago were these picked? So is this just from yesterday? Is this from a week ago? How did you store it until you got it here? A lot of the good ones and you want to ask these questions around the whole farmer's market because you want to find out who's my person that I'm going to go to next week. And once you ask all these questions, then you'll know, okay, this is the person I'm going to keep coming back to. Okay? So how far did they come from? What are they spraying? What do they do when they get a bad crop or they get a bug in their crop?
Can you visit the farm?
Can you visit the farm? That'd be awesome. A lot of farms will do farm days. Family farm days, come by at our farm, ask them if they have a farm shop, if you can go over there and pick from them. What else?
That's the nice thing about going to the farmer's market is if you go every week and you ask these questions, then you know who your favorites are.
Yes, you can get to know your person.
Yeah, and then it just becomes natural.
And you got a relationship, and that's how it always used to be, right? The people were friends with their farmers, and they knew what they were getting. They knew what they were getting. So again, how long is this going to be in season for? How much longer can I get this? Is this in season? Are you growing in a greenhouse, you know, outside of the season because people want strawberries in December? If you're growing in a greenhouse, what kind of practices are you using? So just, I mean, don't be afraid to ask these kinds of questions. They're super nerdy about their food. They want to talk to you. It's exciting. You get like, yay, somebody wants to know about more about me. What other questions do you guys have? Yeah, we can definitely talk about eggs. That's like a whole topic in and of itself. So, eggs. Where do you guys get your eggs from? Farmer's market? You do? Awesome. Sprouts, you said? Oh, sorry.
What questions
Said
do
start.
you ask at the farmer's market?
Yeah, what questions, that's good. What questions are you asking at the farmer's market?
Just go to the farmer's market, you can get clean eggs.
I always go to the Davies.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, Delny.
But,
Yeah.
Now when you are purchasing at Roots or something, I know to always look for pasture raised.
Yes.
But is there anything beyond that? I know you can't say cage
Not
free
really.
isn't worth it.
Yeah, cage free doesn't mean anything. Free range doesn't mean anything. Organic really doesn't mean anything when it comes to eggs because it's just organic corn and soy. It has to be pasture raised. But even those, they're even still in the grocery store. Like, yes, pasture raised is the best you can get in the grocery store. And I've been in the situation where it's like I'm tapped out of eggs. My kids need eggs for whatever, and I go to the grocery store and I have to buy eggs because I'm out of my regular eggs. I get my eggs delivered to me from Harvest to You. They also bring you eggs, so that's where my eggs come from. I just get them delivered every week, or I will buy at the farmer's market if I run out and I happen to be at the farmer's market, or I'll buy the pasture raised. But really, I mean, grocery store eggs they have to meet FDA regulations. They have to be bleached. They have to be cleaned, which once you clean the outside of the egg, it already compromises it. That shell is very, it's strong, but it's permeable. It's very porous. So it's going to absorb whatever it is that's around it. So if they're dipping it in bleach to make it all look uniform, your brown eggs or your white eggs, there's some of that's getting in your eggs. So no matter what, when you do a grocery store egg, it's not going to be ideal. In the situation where it's like, oh, I got to get something, you might as well, get pasture raised if you can. Of course, organic if you can't do anything else but organic, that's better. Slightly better. But when someone comes over my house and they're like, I buy my eggs for $1.99 a dozen, and it's like, well, you're getting $1.99 a dozen eggs. That's what you're putting in your body. My eggs cost $7.99 a dozen. But I'm willing to spend the money because it's a good quality egg and I'm getting the good protein, the cholesterol, and all the good stuff from it.
But just because it's at the farmer's market.
No, you still gotta ask the questions. Correct.
So it's very cheap right now for people to be buying hens and building
Hen house.
Yeah. And then saying, oh, I got all these eggs, how beautiful they are, they're all the different colors.
Purple, yeah.
What the hens do, different
Green.
types of hens produce different eggs. But that doesn't mean they're not feeding them corn and soy. Right?
So ask them when you go, yeah.
Questions of what's the supplemental feed? Is there a booster in the area?
Fertilizing the eggs.
Just fertilize the eggs, which makes them even more nutritionally dense. So you still, just because it's at the farmer's market, like we're promoting farmer's markets, but that doesn't mean you just go blind and trust.
No, you gotta ask questions no matter what it is you're buying. If you're buying meat, if you're buying eggs, if you're buying produce, you gotta ask the questions. What are the animals eating that I'm eating? If your animals are eating corn and soy, so are you. If you're avoiding corn and soy in your diet, but you're eating a cow that was only fed corn and soy, you're getting only corn and soy. That's not their natural diet, right? So same thing with the chickens. Chickens, oh my gosh, this makes me so crazy. That big Foster Farms truck on the freeway, right? The big truck. I say this in every one of my classes because it makes me nuts. My husband laughs every time he sees it. It's green. Because green is organic, right? If you see green, you think like, oh, it's green, it's fresh, it's organic. So it's like all organic eggs, 100% vegetarian fed. They're so proud of it. They're so proud that their chickens are vegetarian fed that they put it on the big old sign on the side of their truck. And I yell every single time, chickens are not vegetarians. Chickens are not vegetarians. Chickens eat bugs and parasites and flies and worms and all kinds of things. But they are not strictly corn and soy animals. And neither are cows. So then this comes up the question of like, why do we need so many antibiotics in the conventionally grown meats? Why do we need so many antibiotics for the chickens? Well, when you're eating the wrong diet, your gut bacteria that is expecting a certain kind of diet is getting so rapidly destroyed that it has no way to protect you against any pathogens at all. So close quarters, feces, plus the wrong diet equals huge disaster and 99-cent meat. And you get what you pay for. You get what you pay for. It's got to be a priority for you to be healthy and eat the right kinds of foods, the right quality foods. And again, we can see the conventionally grown meats and conventionally grown vegetables went up just as much as the cancer rates and disease and heart attacks and brain, Alzheimer's disease and all of these things. It went up at the same time. Now, just because we're not necessarily doing lab studies on it, because it's not ethical to tell someone to eat McDonald's for a year and let's test your blood sugar levels, doesn't mean it isn't negatively affecting them. Make sense? Sorry, sometimes I get a little like, because I get so mad and it's like, I can't help it, I want to shake everyone. It's like, they're not vegetarians and neither are you. Something along those lines.
So what about at the farmer's market when you see the seafood, some of them have the fresh and the other are frozen. So
Yeah.
what things should you ask
For seafood, same thing. Ask the questions. Where are they coming from? Are they farmed? Where are they coming from if they're fresh? How long have they been traveling? And what was it that, how did it get to be where it is now? So if you're looking at fresh frozen halibut or something like that, and first of all fish, if it's coming to you, was frozen at one point. So if it's defrosted, it's meant to be cooked, not frozen again. So if you're at the grocery store and you're buying like a piece of salmon and it is defrosted, go home and cook it. Don't take it to the freezer. Okay? So ask the questions. And it all has been previously frozen because it came from somewhere, whether it came from Alaska or Hawaii or wherever it came from, they had to freeze it there. So if it's fresh and not frozen, it needs to be cooked, not refrozen. But ask those questions. How long has it been traveling for? Was it frozen previously? Who is doing the catching of this fish and where is it coming from? If it's farm fish and you're buying at the farmer's market, you're still buying crap. You're just spending more money for it. Yeah. So ask the questions. And it should be. It should be. It should be flash frozen. But ask them that. So ask if it should have been frozen right away, and if it's out on ice packs, don't buy 100 pounds and take it home and put it in your freezer. Just buy enough for the dinner and go home and cook it.
Just be careful with fish all around because of mercury levels and Fukushima and everything else. So there's only a few areas that are really safe for fish.
Right.
Alaska's number one is not. Alaska's not.
No, just in the last 2 years it was compromised. So so ask and see where it's coming from. Iceland is good. There's a couple of other countries that are good.
That's one of those things that you look at in moderation, right? So I think if you're doing it every day, salmon every single day.
No, don't do that.
Not a good choice.
And if you are eating fish regularly, just take to mind the practices of cleaning your body out of the toxins. So doing things like chlorophyll or chlorella, which help to bind and pull out the mercury regularly. Just so you okay, I eat fish once a week. I take these capsules, twice a day, something like that, just to make sure you're not keeping anything stuck in there. Also, just breathing the air that we breathe has chemicals and toxins in it. The water that we sit in the bath in typically has some type of metal or contaminant. So doing any of those, good clean out things just on a regular basis will help keep your body flushing all of that. Yeah. Any other questions about going to the farmers markets?
We focused on the farmers market, but there are also shops, obviously.
Oh yeah, like Lartisan's Palette, of course.
But there's other places.
Yeah,
that
local community.
Still need to ask the same questions.
Oh yeah. So yeah, shopping local I think is a
Yes, being informed consumer.
be informed. Everything is about being informed, absolutely. But looking at things like going, you know, to Artisan's Palette, of course, like supporting these local community type stores, the local restaurants that are doing things correctly. And again, ask those questions. Where is your meat coming from? What kind of oils are you using in your meat or to cook your foods with? You know, are they supporting the local industry in order to have you support them? So there's got to be, I mean, little shops, restaurants, store owners that are bringing in this local stuff. Look for them and support them.
Do you know what restaurants do you trust besides these?
Well, even the oils are
Not ideal.
not in line with what we want.
But you can ask them to cook it dry.
Yeah, and that's, you know, I'm bold, so if I go out, I always have an avocado oil. I don't even tonight. I say, this is what I want the chef to be using. So,
That is
they
bold.
do.
That is really bold. I don't know that I'm there yet. Well, here's my own oil. Can I just come back? Can I just see what you're doing back? I'm really good at this. Like, I'll take these tickets, I'll help you cook, and then I'll do it myself.
So, but that's where I'm at 4 years into it. That's my level, right? I'm not looking for anybody else to match that. But, you know, as you grow and as you evolve, yeah.
So, is there any place you trust?
Hey, Christine, don't worry about it. What are you saying? Let's see. When is the next muscle testing? It's every month is the second Wednesday of every month I do muscle testing and the clean eating class.
Solanos and quintas clean, all the oils are clean. Workshop in Palm Springs is super clean, everything's organic, all the oils are safe.
Do we have any more questions for this? And then I'm gonna shut this down. All right, you guys, if you don't have any more questions about this, we'll move on to our muscle testing class next. But I hope you guys come in next week, and thank you so much for joining. If you're watching the replay, make sure to comment below. Let us know if you have any questions. We'll be happy to answer them. We'll come in and answer later. Go to www.imacleaneater.com, subscribe to the page, watch the YouTube videos. There's a ton of clean eating recipes. Get our meal plans. If you're lost, don't know where to go, don't know what to eat, just get our recipes. They're easy, they're clean. You already know what you're gonna get from us, and all of the products that we use in our recipes are on the online store as well as in our physical store, Artisan's Palette in Temecula, California. Thank you so much for joining, and I hope to see you next month. Bye.